I've been looking forward to making this video and teaching you my funnel ecosystem because it's a very unique thing. And I've managed to learn this by doing over the years and how I make some of the biggest creators the most money in the world, how I've scaled my agency is essentially building funnel ecosystems, which are massively automated. And it just means that in the background, things will always be working and driving leads for your business. So I'm going to give it away. Let's get into it. What we're going to focus on, the first thing I'm going to talk about especially is angles, which essentially are problems / pain / pleasure. And we want to try to set up as many as we can. So this is one. In a similar way, we want to set up as many as we can. So we want to have as many angles as we possibly can think that will pull people towards us. So I've just put 2 here as an example, but in reality, you can have 4, 5, 6, 10. And it's actually not that hard to do, but that's the way we want to do it. Why? Because we're targeting different people with different things. So it's way more concise. And so when we're pushing ads on, when we're doing social media posts, when we're doing anything public to pull traffic towards us, we pull them to the right source. And look, my agency, but at the time I'm recording this, we've sold $270 million. And the reason we've done that is because we really excel at this point on this. So continuing the messaging, you don't want it to be, you are saying, I can help you, edit content better. So, more people will watch you, etc. You'll grow your followers. To when you land on a page, it says something else. We have to continue that messaging. And that is essential. And that is why we want to do this. I'm just going to talk you through this really slowly so it makes sense. So I guess the way I would be doing it is I would come up with an angle. I would then create organic content, and then I would create ads-based content for that angle. And then essentially we want to have a landing page with a VSL, i.e. like this, headline, subheading, video, call to action. And then essentially the call to action will be book a call. And this is where things get a little bit more complex for newbies. Ultimately, we want to be making sure we're setting up all our automations, right? So when someone books a call, if they didn't show up, you want to use Zapier, which is a tool that allows you to connect different apps together. And we want to send that person, that lead, into your email software, where we then will be sending them an email to follow up because they didn't show up, to get them to be booked in again. We don't want that to be a manual process. Similarly, we want to have a pixel on our website, which would be Meta Pixel, TikTok Pixel, Google Pixel. And immediately we're going to be working on retargeting ads that's going to make the person come back to book their call again. This is where, do you get it, how it's an automated ecosystem? So you have content here at the top, you're funneling in people through ads and organic, they're coming on the page, they're either they're signing up. If they're not signing up and it's just traffic, I'll do this right now because I'm going to make a new one very quickly, which is essentially, which is people it's just traffic, right? Didn't book a call. Ultimately, very immediately, they'll get hit by the pixel, and we're going to have retargeting ads. And essentially, we are trying to get them back to the website. So again, ecosystem, right? It's ecosystem. I'll put it here. And what are we trying to do is it changes. So when someone has landed on the website and didn't make an action, we now know that they know who you are. And because of that, we now can something which is lower down the funnel, not top of the funnel, and get them to come back. The whole idea is we're pumping traffic. Traffic comes from all sorts of sources. When it does, we're going to catch people that didn't make an action. The people that didn't make an action, great. They're going to go into their own email sequence to remind them to jump on the call, etc. People that didn't, we're going to be hitting them with emails from every angle and hitting them with ads to make sure they come back, right? So we're not just going to let it be. The amount of people have calls and nothing happens, it's because of that. Essentially, we're going to be continuing this. And ultimately, it's probably worth saying, which I put as a reminder for myself here, that when this box is your sales management process. Ultimately, because even if they show up or don't show up, you need to be tracking that in a software. I like to use Pipedrive. You can use an Excel spreadsheet. Ultimately, to see how when a lead comes in, you are all over it as a business, right? You are making sure you are getting on a call with them. And if they're not getting on a call with them, they are getting email, they're getting ads, and you are manually contacting them through your sales process, trying to get back on the call. Essentially, that's a basic minimum funnel setup for you. And we just got to sit and think about the angles. And again, they can be the exact same pages. You're just going to have to refilm the VSL. So who you're talking to, right? So if you're IACP, if you're a paid ads agency, maybe you're helping brands, but at the same time, you can help shops or salons with leads. You can be helping software companies with something. Maybe you have a couple of IACPs and you are there today. You will then need to create this again and again, because the heading would be get more customers, get more, MRR for your agency through our customer acquisition, methods. If it's, get more customers for your brand, that will keep coming back, whatever, right? We're going to get you the right customers. But that's what the videos will have to say. So just like that, you'll be getting leads of all sorts of things, and it would be amazing. So, that's the idea. Moving on. So that's just the simple funnel. Next funnel is a lead magnet email funnel. So essentially is where you're creating a free resource, just like this is one of mine, where you are getting people to give their email address to be able to get something from you. This is so easy because obviously this here on the left is quite hard. That the friction is hard because people genuinely have to be interested in signing up to an agency to book a call to acquire about the services, right? So this is actually tough because the barrier is very big. Here, the barrier is very low. So going back to, you can say, we've ran ads for the last 2 years and know exactly what to do. Get our free, toolkit, get our free 20 best performing ads, get a free framework. People will be like, yeah, for sure, let's do it. Right. And when we talked about, remember the DM automations, we talked about how you utilize these as like comment the word, etc., run the menu chat automation to try to pull people in. This is exactly essentially the other side of it, that we want to make sure the page is solid for them to convert. But then what are we going to do? We're going to hit them with an email autoresponder, which gives you access to the free, document or training, etc. What I like to do is, in this actual funnel, I just reminded myself, is I like to do something where they're going to get drip fed day by day. So it's continuous versus what a lot of people do is you put your email in, you get your document and off you go. So I want to break that out. I want to every single day give you the free, and I want to try and put that onto a sales page so you can physically see it. The point being is that they'll get a free value and straight away it should be basically, I'll call this, basically this is the landing, I've called it sales page, but what I mean is landing page. You get it? Because you have the landing page there for them. And what that's doing is that's going to essentially put them back here, a version of this page where at the top they have the free resource and below is, and if the free resource could be a video, it'd be that much more powerful because ultimately you could just be telling them, hey guys, what's up? I've just put together the 10, I'm going to talk you through the 10 videos that work. And below essentially you're pushing them to book a call. So ultimately it's a freebie. You'll get lots of people signing up as a funnel, and in the end, you'll get the leads because they'll watch something for free, they'll read something for free, they'll get access to a PDF for free, and then we're going to be pushing them to buy. You do that for a number of pieces of days, and at the end, we're going to try to get them to make a action. And, that's what we want to do. We want to send them like 7 days of PDFs. We're trying to push them to a sales page. We're trying to push them to the landing page to book a call. So this is another way for you to get leads using lead magnets. Another one, lead magnet training funnel. This is free training. So this is more what I was slightly talking about, which is like email autoresponder, offer access to the free training. Email takes you to a landing page with a lesson and the hero section. And ultimately you go to the landing page, right? Then let's say you didn't take action. As I was saying earlier, the pixel is going to hit them with ads. The Zapier, if you have the email address, because they've opted in to get the freebie, you've got the email address now. That's the beauty of doing something like this, is because ultimately you are getting the email address earlier in the funnel, which basically means you can retarget them even if they didn't book a call. If they booked a call, Calendly, didn't turn up, Zapier, they joined the call in your sales process, or maybe they end up just buying directly. If you're selling something, you start onboarding the client. If this were just really well oiled and set up well, you will just start succeeding. Honestly, this sort of stuff is super advanced because ultimately all of this stuff takes time in terms of getting the ads right, the email flows right, testing them, checking the copy, is it good enough, etc. And you want the business to start making you money in the back end yourself. And there's so many funnels we do and they work. So another one is a quiz funnel. This is, you can run a quiz about, here's an example, like discover your SEO score, test your SEO knowledge, right? You can be like, so it's coming up with a quiz to see what it would take, I guess, which could be a good hook for your business. You run ads to it, you can run socials to it. I'll just put organic as well. And ultimately, it's a way to get people to answer questions. And normally you can have a great hook, right? Like the secret to, content that converts on paid ads. Here's the thing that you can do to figure out the answer, or something else, or it's like test your knowledge. Anyway, if they didn't compete, we're going to try to hit them again. If they did, great. It's going to end up with pushing them to a sales page, to a landing page for them to make an action again. We want them to either book a call, we want them to buy, or they do nothing. Again, they're back into our ecosystem. It's just another way, right? And this is another angle. It's another angle, another angle, another angle, another angle, right? So now we have like so many different ways you are pulling people towards your agency. And then, the classic, the webinar funnel, which is where you are essentially ads there. You are doing a webinar like this for one of our clients, James Smith. Ultimately, he's teaching you email marketing, and it's a full thing where he teaches you email marketing, but by the end of it, Sales asks you to basically join his course in full. And with an agency, what you can do is you can say, look, when it comes to paid ads, you can come up with what's the best way to write copy for paid ads. I'm running a free webinar. You actually do a real webinar. So you prepare for 20 minutes, you'll sit and record a video. The video is actually jam-packed with real information, real value. And once they get a taste of that, they are now going to want to buy or sign up to your agency because they really, really trust you. So that's what a webinar funnel is. Look, the event is 100% free. All I want is your email. And all we do then is, honestly, at the back of it, if they've watched the webinar, we send them to a landing page and we're all over them trying to convert them. And my email sequences just go deeper and deeper, meaning, email 10, email 15, email 30, and we'll end up offering discounts at certain points. We will do everything we possibly can to convert the person because we have the email, we have nothing to lose. At the same time, if they didn't actually turn up, then normally at some point we will merge them into another email list and essentially we'll be going after them in the same way. But you see how you can do different things to make things happen. You can have a direct purchase funnel, which is you essentially are telling them to buy your service. Obviously in the agency space that happens less, but that also you can test because you just never know. People might just think but signing up to a 3-month personal branding service for $15,000 is worth it, and they don't want an ongoing, forever situation. So that could be another way for you to test that angle, that message, and that selling something direct. I would always say to every agency owner, if you can test direct purchase, you should, because that'll be the best thing ever, that someone's willing to pay you before you do a long sales process trying to make something happen. So hope that makes sense, right? Because ultimately what I'm saying to you is you're not going to have a website, you're going to have a landing page, but then when you have the chance and you've consumed all the content, you can then start to think about what are the different angles and start to learn how to sell yourself in different ways. So one is different message, i.e. what you can do for somebody. Then it's different method, i.e. behind a free resource, behind some free training, behind a quiz, behind a webinar. For some of our clients, we make more money through these funnels than the main funnel because it's so much easier to be promoting this, and they perform so good from a cost per lead point of view when it comes to trying to get a lead for an agency. It can be so much cheaper behind a cheap resource. Yes, of course, this person is way colder than a person that lands on your main page, let's say, and books a call after watching your VSL. 100%. But the idea is that you're warming this person up because the training is that good. So again, these are, they're all leads. And when you're trying to scale an agency, we are just trying to figure out where are we going to sign the best clients from, so then we can invest more time in that method, in that strategy, in that messaging, etc. Because the whole thing of like how to sign clients is all about the way you sell yourself. And what I'm telling you here is there's a number of ways for you to set up your, essentially, your website into multiple landing pages with multiple angles, with multiple ways of selling. So it ends up being a success. If you just do it one way, you are just capping yourself because people are very different in the way they like being sold to. You can't control that, right? The way I like being sold to versus how you like being sold to is very different. Some people don't mind having an ad in a YouTube video and clicking through and buying. Obviously, social media advertising works. I myself, I don't think I've ever bought something through a social media ad. Everybody's different. And that is why you want to do this, because you want to open yourself up to different types of potential client buying habits, because everyone does it differently. Some people will still sit on Google and search and blah, 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 find you. But a lot of people will find you on YouTube because you're making making some content, or Instagram because you're making some content. But then if the funnels ain't dialed in and it's going to be some generic website, it's just not going to work right. You're going to put all that effort in and someone's going to land on something like this and it's just going to be terrible. There's like 4 learn mores and they all go to different pages. Like, it's so not the way to do this, right? But yeah, I just kind of wanted to put this out there because what I've had a lot from like speaking to young agency owners or whatever, like they've never thought about this. And I guess what you don't know is what you don't know. But I'm telling you, one of the easiest ways for you to scale is literally to sit and just do the work that you can do. What I love about this stuff is it's actually easy to do because you're not depending on anybody. A lot of this stuff you can do by yourself and it's just effort. And look, if I can give you any piece of advice in the early days, when I'll call early days less than 100K per year, you know my story, we went from 200K to 2 million, right? So for me, I did all this shit. And that's why we went from, 11K to 280K was it, dollars this is, to $2 million because I did this stuff. For me, it was we manufacture products, funnel. We launch apps, funnel. We provide digital marketing services, funnel. We even did like a US-based funnel because we were trying to sign clients in the US. And that's it, right? You're probably sitting there thinking, how does someone get to 50K per month? How is it 100K per month? It's not your offer. It's not your, it's not your guarantee. It's not that stuff. It's not where I'm going to find the leads. What new software's out that's going to give me 1,000 leads and I'm going to, I'll get one of those. This type of stuff. And, I'm exposing you to it early and you do have the time. Watching less Netflix, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, spend less time. And if you just put the time in, I guarantee if you sat and tried to make yourself a landing page in one whole day, you will get to some good place by the end of the day. You've done the homework, you've done the research, you looked at marketing competitors, you then will be able to sit and think of, okay, here's my 4 angles I'm going to go with. And here's my 4 pages then that I've made. Here's my 4 VSLs, looking at the framework, scripting it, filming it. It doesn't even need much editing. You can just, chop the start and the rest of it can be raw of you just talking. You upload the video on Vimeo, put it into Webflow. Like, it's easy, and it is easy. You're just lazy if you don't know. Like, sit on YouTube, learn it. The more of this shit you can learn, I can create a whole landing page and set up the whole thing all by myself. Zapier, etc., etc., etc. It's all so easy, and these are elementary skills an agency owner must have. I don't give a what anybody else says, because frankly, who else is out there as a real agency owner doing real shit, telling you real stuff? There's hardly anybody because not that many people have done it. I am telling you, build these elementary skills because then on a Sunday afternoon when you have nothing to do, you'll be like, I want to test a new angle. You sit down, you can do it yourself. So start learning the skills. Try to do this in your free time. Obviously, look, there'll be hot outreach you need to do. You need to service your clients. There's a lot of important things for you to do to make sure your agency succeeds. But there is extra time. And one of the best things you can teach yourself is funnel building. Sit on Miro. Start mapping it out. Start mapping every single step you want to take someone through. When they call, what happens? When they didn't turn up, what happens? Oh, okay, I need to now sit in Klaviyo or Active Campaign or whatever, and I'm going to sit and write all the emails myself. You don't need an agency to help you do that. You can do that yourself. But yeah, hope you get the idea. That was me explaining to you all the different funnels that you should be setting up as an agency owner. You don't have to do it today. Start learning on the side, and when the time is right, you can build them out. And you honestly will absolutely start getting more leads once you start this up. So I don't want to hear anybody say, I can't find leads, I don't know how to, because ultimately you are not thinking about the way you are trying to sell your services. And there's many different funnels to set up for you to do that. And when you do that well with the right social, organic, and with the right paid, you will start to get such good inbound leads. This is purely people coming to you and then trying to make an action. But the truth is, in cold outreach, hot outreach, like, people are still going to come to you in some capacity to book a call. So to get this right, it's imperative. But obviously, when you're doing hot outreach or cold, you'll then be sending them to a landing page which continues that messaging. So you just need to get used to. You're never going to be selling something new, doing a new acquisition method without thinking of the whole funnel. Who am I selling to? What's the message? What page are they going to? What does that page say? What's the VSL? What am I saying in that VSL? And what's the call to action? And what's going to happen there? Then we know when that call is booked. When we're making our deck, we are now also thinking about that message. And that message is going to continue because that deck should be saying the same message. And that's exactly how you sign clients, because you've honed in on the problem that people have, and the whole journey, your sales journey, is fixated on solving this problem. And why wouldn't the client sign up with you? And that is it, man. You want to build a big agency, you want to make money, you want to buy the Rollie, you want to be on the yacht, you want to be famous. That's the shit you're going to have to do to make all that happen. You want to buy your mom and dad a house, you want to fly them around the world, you want to propose to your girlfriend, whatever those things are, is how we're going to do it. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.